This year's draft was insane. So let's go back through and give every single team in every division a grade, and then at the end we'll stack each of them up against each other and see who has the best individual grade in the division, in the conference, and in the NFL. Starting in the AFC East, and the first team that we're going to be covering in today's video, the New York Jets. Let's hear it for them.
Do you smell it? That smell. A kind of smelly smell. A smelly smell that smells smelly.
The New York Jets. We're going to be covering the New York Jets today. And in the last video, we finished up the AFC South. That was with Texans. So now we're going to start with the Jets, who obviously their number one need is a quarterback. Everybody knows it's the worst kept secret in the NFL. I'm not even sure it's a secret at this point. Everybody knows the Jets, the Browns, and the Cardinals have perennially needed a quarterback. And the Jets and the Browns and the Cardinals still need a quarterback. So let's just go ahead and dive straight in, and let's continue to talk about what the Jets need. So I'm going to go ahead and open up their profile. Okay. So this is the draft board from New York. Now I'm trying to figure out, okay, their first pick was David Bailey. That's right. Because I had them selecting Arvell Reese. If you look at my mock draft, I was really mad about this. I thought they were going to take Arvell Reese. Third ranked prospect overall. Okay, so yeah, top 3 prospect in his draft, he went to. You know, he wasn't going to make it out of the top 5 anyway, so, you know, he went here. And let's go look at his stats. So I pulled up his stats from when he was in college. This is what got him drafted in the top 2. I mean, this right here. He had 52 total tackles, 32 solo, and 20 assisted tackles. But then you look at his sacks. This is a crazy number. 14.5 sacks. He's a game wrecker. He is a game changer. So we understand that nothing to be said about why he went in the top 3. We understand he went top 3 and he's not 3. So we can't even fault them for that. That was a good pickup for them. It really was. Kenyon Sadiq, tight end out of Oregon. Now, I don't know why the Panthers did not select him. They desperately needed tight end help. He was there, and they let him slide right past him, and he got snapped up immediately. And then they doubled back later in the draft, and they took Omar Cooper Jr. They're getting more wide receiver help, which I'm not saying is a bad thing. I just don't understand it. You have a lot of holes on that offense and on that defense, and you're using one of your top 32 picks on a tight end. Like Jets. I gotta ask this question because it doesn't make sense. Why are you drafting a tight end here? I mean, yeah, you may need a tight end, but you can get a decent tight end in the 3rd round. Okay, a sack is when you tackle the quarterback behind the line of scrimmage. That's what a sack is. But with Kenyon Sadiq, I just didn't see the need here. Like, they did not need him, right? They need edge help. They need cornerbacks. They need offensive guards, right? They need even a wide receiver would have been better here, right? I mean, they did not need Kenyon Sadiq. At worst, you know what they should have done is they should have traded back from this selection later in the draft, and then they could have got a better corner, and they could have got another guard. Loki, they could have drafted Monroe Freeling right here, or they could have drafted another one of those top guard prospects that were still on the board. But instead, they decided to go for Kenyon Sadiq. I'm not saying it was a bad selection. It just was an unnecessary one they didn't need right then and there. So that's just my take on it. Then they took Omar Cooper Jr. At the end of the 1st round. They traded back up to 30th, and they selected him. So, because the Jets have a lot of 1st-round assets this and next year. They really do. David Bailey, Kenyon Sadiq, and Omar Cooper Jr. Now, I like the selection of Omar Cooper Jr. because he's not going to come in and be the number 1. That's obviously going to be Garrett Wilson's job. But he's a good complementary wide receiver, too. I see Omar Cooper Jr. He's a very good complementary wide receiver, too. Now, I don't think they view him as a wide receiver 1. If they did, that would mean Garrett Wilson would probably be on his way out the door, because Garrett Wilson is the number 1 wide receiver for the Jets. And if he is no longer going to be the wide receiver 1, he's not going to be getting that significant pay raise. He's probably going to want to go somewhere where he can get that money. So they comp him to Rashee Rice. He says he mostly threatens with his vertical presence and zone coverage. He does a good job of finding soft spots in the defense. And when you look at his stats, I mean, you could tell he does do a good job of that. I mean, he had 69 receptions for 937 yards last year and 13 touchdowns. Yeah, he's a baller. This guy knows how to get open. He knows how to make defenders miss. I mean, he took huge leaps from his freshman year all the way up to this one. He went from 267 yards. 267 yards to 594 yards to 937 yards. He's just making steady leaps and bounds. I mean, this is a 400-yard gap from his sophomore year to his junior year. That's a huge leap. D'Angelo Pons. This was a really great selection. And I'm you know what? I gotta clap it up. This was a good selection for him. This really was. Now they were able to get D'Angelo Pons out of Indiana. You know, there was a lot of talk about him maybe going in the top 30, maybe going in the first round or, early second. And surprisingly, he just kept sliding. And he slid all the way until the middle of the second round. And then he got picked up by the Jets. Now, this was a really great find. He's ranked 9th at his position group for corners. There are people saying he could go as high as, like, the 30s. Around the 30s. There's people saying he could go even later than that. He does cash in right around the 40 to 55-ish range. So, there is that. But D'Angelo Pons is a great pickup. And this is actually probably one of their best draft picks this year. They did a pretty good job getting him. Darnell Jackson Jr. from Florida State. He was the anchor of their defensive line. Even his production did not show it. He's ranked 9th at his position group. He's tall. He's 6'5", 315 pounds. He's a big dude. He relies on peak shed technique a lot. And Jackson is at his best when lined up at nose tackle. Fun fact, I actually played nose tackle in high school. I wasn't very good because I'm 5'5", 160 pounds, but I played nose tackle in high school. It just wasn't something I would recommend for somebody that's my weight, my size, my stature. Cade Klubnik, 4th round selection, quarterback, 11th at his position. It is said that he has had a up and down career as a 4-year starter at Clemson, which is true. The last quarterback to come out of Clemson that we thought was going to be good that turned up was DJ Uiagalelei, and he ended up going to Florida State and having a nightmare senior year. It says he can be streaky at times, and he is adequate RPM on deep routes and downfield throws. Honestly, Klubnik will probably start for the Jets at some point this year because everybody knows Geno Smith is not the answer. So I don't think we're going to see Geno Smith start the whole year. We'll see Cade Klubnik at some point. I'm almost confident. We will see him or Brady Cook at some point this year. I wish they still had Jordan Travis because that guy might have done something for him. And you go over and look at his stats, and you can see why they say he's been so up and down. Look at his stats, right? From his sophomore year, 2,800 yards, 19 touchdowns, 9 interceptions, with a quarterback rating of 126. And then he had his best season last year with 3,600 yards, 36 touchdowns, and 6 interceptions. He should have went out last year. He probably would have been a top quarterback in the draft. They probably would have went by the end of the second round. Instead, he fell to the 4th round this year. I think if he would have came out last year, probably would have had a better time getting drafted. Probably a little bit of easier chance to get drafted higher as well. And then you look at his last year stats, 16 touchdowns, 16 interceptions, 2,900 yards. Yeah, that's just not good enough production to be a top quarterback in this draft. Inez Cooper, guard out of Miami. He's ranked 6th at his position, and he's a tall bitch. He is 6'6". Jesus. Why are they getting taller? 334 pounds from Miami. It says his strong, wide body gives him power to move defenders. I bet. Look, he's 6'6", 300. If you can't move somebody at 6'6", 300 pounds, you playing the wrong sport, my guy. You shouldn't even. If you can't move somebody, you that big. I don't know what to tell you. Last pick was VJ Payne from Kansas State. He is a safety, 6'3", 206 pounds. He started 42 games over the past 4 seasons in run support. He plays strong downhill, but he needs to use his length better. Omar Cooper Jr. and D'Angelo Pons. Those are 2 A+. These are 2 A+. They did a really good job. Matter of fact, I'm not going to lie. Jets, because you had 3 first-round draft picks, you were always going to have a decent score. I mean, you always were. But I got to go ahead and make it official. New York Jets, I'm going to go ahead and give y'all an A- grade. I know I don't really like this B- that they gave you. You guys don't deserve a B-. You deserve you guys don't deserve a B+. You deserve an A-. That's honestly what I think. I like the way you guys attacked your draft. I just don't understand why you took King and Sadiq there. So, give the Jets an A-. Alright. And now, we're going to move on to the Bills for the next one.